Ashutosh here, and today I'm going to talk about 5 techniques for effectively facilitating a daily Scrum event. But before that, let me also talk about some few important points which we all need to understand about daily Scrum. First of all, daily Scrum is not a status meeting. It is more a meeting which will help us understand whether we are in alignment with our sprint goal or not. Second point, there is no standard format for conducting a daily Scrum event. Some teams like to use the 3 question format, some teams go in an impromptu manner. There are many other teams who have devised their own technique for facilitating a daily Scrum event. Third and the most important point, a team does not have to wait for a daily Scrum event to happen to raise an impediment. For example, your daily Scrum event could be planned for 4 p.m. every day. It doesn't mean that if I've got an impediment at 11 o'clock in the morning, I have to wait for 4 p.m. for a daily Scrum event to tell my impediment. I can always report that impediment early and I can actually start working on resolving that impediment even before a daily Scrum event is scheduled. With these important points in mind, let me now walk you through 5 techniques which will help us conduct daily Scrum event in an efficient manner. Number one, consistency is the mantra here, which means try to schedule a daily Scrum event at the same place, same time. This adds a kind of a continuity. So if I know that, for example, that my daily Scrum event is going to happen at 4 p.m. Next to the wall where my Scrum board is located, I think it sets a pattern, right? It's like a pattern which will be there in my calendar that yes, now it is 4 p.m. I have to now move near the wall so that we can conduct and facilitate a daily Scrum event. Number two, the meeting is time boxed to 15 minutes. Now remember one very important point, this is 15 minutes maximum, which means that if your meeting ends in 9 or 10 minutes, let us not try to talk something which we are not supposed to talk in a daily Scrum. You can always move away from the area and continue with your work. So make sure that the event is time boxed to 15 minutes. Try to have a reverse counter setup, just like we have a DRS in cricket, right? When there's a dispute for a decision, there's a reverse timer, and within that timer, you have to opt for a decision. And similar thing is there in tennis also now. So similarly, have a reverse stopwatch of 15 minutes. The meeting ends irrespective of the fact whether we have completed answering or responding within 15 minutes. Third is, we also need to coach, as Scrum Masters I'm saying, we also need to coach that how do we facilitate this Scrum event, the daily Scrum event. So there are different techniques, as I said. My personal preference is not the 3 question format, which many of us do use. My personal preference is that let's start with blockers. So whosoever has got blockers to talk about, this person can begin with a daily Scrum and then we rotate across the team. That can be one technique. Another technique can be, we can also introduce some fun element. For example, whosoever came to office first in the morning gets a first chance to speak, or whosoever came in late today is punished because of that and gets a first opportunity to speak in a daily Scrum event. Number 4, very important point, no digital devices allowed. This is what I have implemented in my Scrum teams. We strictly ensure that no one enters into a daily Scrum event with their mobile phones along with them, or in fact even with laptops with them. In fact, this was initially difficult because everyone wanted to have a look at laptop and then talk about what's happening in their area. But then we made a rule that this is one time in the day where you can be without your digital devices. So try to keep digital devices at your workplace and then come and talk, right? At least try to summarize what has happened in the day in 1 or 2 minutes. That really helps us to understand what the team has been working upon, and in case there are any blockers which are coming across the way. Fifth and the last point which I would like to say here is that yes, the Scrum Master is the one who's facilitating the removal of impediments or blockers. But it does not mean that other team members cannot opt for or volunteer for removing the impediments. So, as coaches, as scrum masters, we should also encourage that once the blockers have been identified from team, is there anyone who's willing to volunteer and facilitate the removal of these impediments? That is a culture which we as scrum masters and coaches should be encouraging. It's a self-organizing team, as we all say, right? So the onus of removing impediment does not only lie on the scrum master. Anyone can take up that initiative. Anyone can go ahead and facilitate the removal of impediments. I hope these points are really helpful to all of you and hope there is some learning which is coming out of this short video. In case you like this video, do share, subscribe to our channel, and there are more interesting videos coming up in future. This is Ashutosh Bhatodekar signing off for the moment. Have a great day ahead.